I'm about to get raw and real, sharing a personal story about some conflicts that my wife and I had just last week to support you whenever it is that you were dealing with conflict. So I'm about to lace a method that you can use next time that you're in conflict called the S.T.O.P method. So this is going to support you massively if you are married, if you're single and dating, or if you're in a relationship. Now, if you don't know who I am, by the way, my name is Matt and I run this channel with my beautiful wife, Kelly, and we work as dating and relationship coaches, helping the God-led create their dream love lives. So every single letter here is backed by a biblical principle. So let me just break this down for you, starting off with a story. So let me rewind you back to Sunday morning. My wife and I, we go out for breakfast every single Sunday. However, Saturday night before we went out for breakfast, we had some conflicts. I don't know if any of you ever had the time when you've had conflict with anybody or it got to the point where all you knew is that you had to win the conversation, right? You had to prove to them why you're right and they're wrong. You're no longer listening, right? You're no longer being empathetic for their world. Well, that's where I was personally at. I got to the point where I was just not listening. So before I break down the S.T.O.P method, the how, it's incredibly important to know the when to use the method. So if you notice that when you're in conflict, there are three different categories that you can be in. So we think of this thermometer here. We think of a mental and emotional thermometer. There are three different categories that you can be in. So in that point in time, I was up here. I was highly dysregulated. I was triggered. I was no longer able or willing to listen to her, right? So this is where we don't want to use this method because it's going to be very challenging for us to use it in the first place. Now, there are two different areas that you can be in, two different categories. So sometimes you can be in the bottom here, which is you're regulated, right? You're not triggered. Everything is all good. You can think clearly. You're emotionally clear, and your behavior isn't being dictated by your emotions in the moment, right? Now, when you want to use this S.T.O.P method is when you were here. So this is where you are slightly dysregulated. This is where you're noticing that the urgency for the urge for you to go into your survival response, which is either fight, flight, freeze, or appease or fawn, right? You're noticing that there is this urge for you to win the conversation, go into the conflict even more, fight. You're noticing that you wanted to get out of the conversation altogether, like you need to escape. You're noticing that you're going into collapse, right? You're going into a freeze response. You're noticing that you're not even responding anymore, right? You're going into this sense of apathy, or you're noticing that you're going into a fawn response. So as you're noticing that you're going into that is when you stop. That is when you use this method here. Now you can use this up here. However, it's important that you ask for space. It's important that you look at what is the thing that will support you to get into the orange or the green, right? So because when you're fully turned into the Hulk, good luck trying to stop the Hulk, the inner Hulk in that moment. So as the Hulk is starting to transform, that's when you stop. So, okay, let's go into the acronym and then continue on with the story. So we had the conflict, we went to bed, and we woke up the next morning. And I don't know if you ever had a point in time or had the moment where there was like this false peace in the house, where things aren't fully resolved, but you're acting like it's resolved. You know what I mean? There's this false peace that's going on. So we woke up, we were kissing, we were hugging, saying good morning. Everything was normal on the surface in terms of our behavior, but there was something energetically that just wasn't the same, right? Because it was false peace. There was things that weren't actually resolved. We didn't get to the end of the conflict. So Sunday morning, we're driving to breakfast. We ride scooters here in Bali. So I was riding my scooter behind Kelly, and I did the very first S here. So when you're starting to use all these different conflict resolution techniques and nothing is working, you stop. So where's my texter here? So what you do, number one, is you seek. I was trying to do everything under the sun to try to resolve the conflict right? But what I didn't do in that moment was I didn't seek God. I was trying to come from my will. Now, there are multiple ways you can seek God. You can seek through prayer. You can seek through the word. I was starting to seek through prayer. I was like, God, I give it up. I'm trying to do everything here. And this is what I actually said. I said, God, can you please perform heart surgery on me right now and align me with the way that you want me to be as a husband for Kelly, for my wife, right? Help me here. Help me put down my armor. Help me to put down the armor around my heart and give me guidance on what to do when we arrive at the restaurant, at the cafe. And instantly, as soon as I just gave it up and I said, I'm lost, God could come in and be like, okay, you've admitted that you're lost. You're trying to do it all yourself. Thank you for seeking me. And then he gave me a map. He gave me commands on what to do in that moment. So the second thing on what to do once you seek is you go into T, which is you trust. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways, submit to him and he will make your paths straight. In all of your ways, right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Not 5%, not 10%, not 50%, not 95%, not 99.999%, but all your heart. God, I give it up. I'm going to trust you. My way isn't working. My way just wants to be right. My way is leading with pride. This isn't the way. I trust you. Now, trust is great if we think about it, conceptually, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to trust God. But the third step is when you go into action, which is you obey. In John, it says, if you love me, keep my commands. So you must obey the commands that God gives you the moment that you seek, the moment that you trust him. You obey. So in that moment, when I was praying, I instantly felt this sense of not peace, but this sense of relief. Where I was like, okay, I felt that my armor fully went down. I felt that I just wanted to lead with compassion. And when we arrived, we sat down and I just apologized. I said, babe, I want to say that I'm sorry for the way that I acted yesterday. And I'm sorry for not listening. And I'm sorry for the way that I was showing up. And I'm just sorry for everything. And we got to the end of the conflict where it was fully resolved. And then after that, I did the fourth step here. Which is you praise. You praise God, and at the same time, you praise your partner, whoever it is that you're having conflict with. Because we teach people how to be with us by what we say, by what we don't say, by what we do and what we don't do. So you want to appreciate what you want even more of. So in that moment, it's appreciating, hey, even though it's turned into conflict, I just want to say thank you for bringing this up. I really appreciate it because that's how we can really get to the end of everything. And I'm just so thankful that you brought it up because now we're closer together. Now our relationship is even stronger. So what that does for someone who's receiving that, what appreciates. We're going to call forth even more of the aspects of what we want in a person through leading with appreciation compared to criticism. And of course, giving praise and thankfulness to God for guiding you in that moment, guiding me in that moment. So those are the 4 steps that you can use. I really hope this was helpful. If you liked this video, you're also going to like this video here. And I'd love to hear what was your biggest takeaway from this video. Go ahead and leave that below and I'll see you in the next video.